Once upon a time there was a donut shop called Yummy Donuts that was famous throughout the land for its delicious, mouth-watering jelly donuts. Every morning, crowds of people would line up outside the little shop waiting eagerly to get their hands on the soft, warm donuts bursting with sweet jelly filling. The donut maker was Willy Wonka, a jolly man with twinkling eyes and flour dusted all over his apron. He arrived at the shop every morning before dawn to prepare the batter and fry up tray after tray of his famous jelly donuts. Carefully, he would fill each donut with a small dollop of glistening fruit jelly using a special pastry bag. Willy loved seeing the smiles on his customers' faces when they bit into the donuts and the sweet jelly oozed out. On the day our story begins, Willy woke up extra early, eager to try a new raspberry jelly recipe. "These will be the best jelly donuts yet," he said to himself with excitement. At the shop, he mixed up a huge batch of batter and carefully dropped donuts into the hot oil. While they fried, he prepared small mounds of the glistening red jelly. Soon Willy had tray after tray filled with perfect golden brown donuts, ready to be injected with the jewel-toned filling. But just as Willy started filling the first donut, he heard shouts from outside the shop. A loud commotion was taking place. He rushed to the window and was shocked by what he saw. A huge flock of jelly-loving birds, there must have been 100 of them, were feasting on the donuts he had left to cool on the windowsill. "Shoo, shoo!" cried Willy, waving his arms to scare the birds away. But they barely noticed him over their jelly-filled frenzy. The entire flock gobbled up every last crumb, licked the windowsill clean of jelly, and finally fluttered away, leaving only empty trays behind. Poor Willy gazed in horror at the ruined donuts. How could he possibly make more in time for the morning rush? Willy sank into a chair, put his face in the last remaining jelly donut, and began to sob. How could he disappoint all his loyal customers? The shop would surely have to close. Just then, he heard a soft thump as something small landed on the floor nearby. He uncovered his jelly-smeared face and looked down to see a tiny blue parrot looking up at him. "Cheer up," said the parrot in a squeaky voice. "I can help." Willy was amazed to hear the little bird talk. The parrot explained he was Perry, pet of a helpful witch who lived in the forest. He offered to fly for help so Willy's famous jelly donuts wouldn't be lost for good. The donut maker dried his tears and agreed it was worth a try. Perry fluttered his bright wings and set off on his mission. He soared over the village rooftops and into the dark forest where his witch friend lived. "Fiona! Fiona!" Perry squawked outside her cottage door. "I need your help." The door creaked open and Fiona appeared. She was an odd old woman with frizzy white hair and a big purple hat. Perry told her of the donut disaster and she sprang into action. "Luckily, I have just the potion for this," said Fiona as she hurried around her kitchen mixing up a bubbly concoction. She poured it into a small vial tied with a bow. "Make sure Willy drizzles this over whatever donuts he has left," she told Perry. "It will duplicate the number of donuts with a magic jelly filling." She handed him the potion and shooed him out the door. Perry tucked the vial safely in his beak and zoomed back over the forest to the village as fast as his wings could carry him. Breathless, he arrived at the donut shop window where Willie was still moping. "I have it," Perry announced, holding out the vial in his talons. Willie's eyes went wide as Perry explained Fiona's duplicating potion. With a spark of hope, Willie drizzled the potion over the few untouched donuts left from the morning batch. Amazingly, the donuts began to shimmer and shake. One turned into two, two into four, and four into eight. Soon the few leftover donuts had doubled and doubled again until Willie had tray after tray overflowing with fresh, puffy donuts ready for their jelly filling. "It worked," cried Willie, scooping Perry up in a grateful hug. The little parrot had saved the day for yummy donuts. With the magic donuts ready, Willie pumped his pastry bag full of the delicious new raspberry jelly and got to work. One by one he filled each donut with a burst of sweet, fruity flavor until tray after tray was stocked with perfect jelly donuts. Just in time, too, soon customers were lining up outside, wondering if any treats would be left that day after the early morning jelly donut theft. Willie opened up the shop right on time. Word of the donut disaster had spread through town, so the crowd cheered when they saw Willie's shelves overflowing with glistening jelly donuts once more. The magic doubling potion had saved the day. All morning long, Willie served his eager customers with a special satisfaction. He kept glancing at Perry, perched nearby, and giving the clever parrot a wink of gratitude. As the week went on, Willie learned that Fiona's potion had given his donuts an added magical gift. They were now even more deliciously addictive. Soon people from villages miles around were flocking to his shop each morning to get their hands on his legendary jelly donuts. They were even tastier than before. Willie was so grateful to Perry and Fiona that he began setting aside a dozen donuts each morning just for them. Perry would arrive like clockwork to bring the witch her payment of sweet, jelly-filled treats. "You really saved my bakery," Willie told the parrot. "This will be our little secret." And so the donut shop, Willie, Perry, and even Fiona the witch all lived happily ever after.